बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन बल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपीजन बल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोधनंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोधनंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Gurudeva 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 Jaya Gurudeva Nikare Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Gaur Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Bol गौर भक्त वृंद की जय शील प्रभुपाद की जय ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगना ललिता श्री विशाखावितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So we welcome once again all the devotees for Bhakti Shastri classes. Okay, so yesterday we were doing sloka number mantra 6, and we have to recite now Ishopanishad slokas also. So Shri Ishopanishad Mangalacharan Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Evavashishyate ईशावास्यमिदं सर्वं यत्किञ्च जगत्यां जगत् तेन त्यक्तेन भुञ्जीता मा गृधः कस्य स्विद्धनं कुर्वन्नेवेह कर्माणि जिजीविषेशतं समाह एवं त्वयि नान्यथेत्वस्ति न कर्म लिप्यते नरे असूर्यनाम ते लोका अन्धेन तमसावृताः तांस्ते प्रेत्याभिगच्छन्ति ये के चात्महनो जनाः अनीजदेकं मनसो जवीयो नैनदेव आप्नुवं पूर्वमर्षत् तद्धावतो अन्यनत्येति तिष्ठत् तस्मिन्नपो मातरिश्वा दधाति तद्देजति तन्नेजति तद्दूरे तदवन्तिके तदन्तरस्य सर्वस्य तदु सर्वास्यस्य बाह्यतः यस्तु सर्वाणि भूतान्य आत्मन्येवानुपश्यति सर्वभूतेषु चात्मानं ततो न विजुगुप्सते यस्मिन् सर्वाणि भूतान्य आत्मन्येवाभूद्विजानतः तत्र को मोहः कः शोक एकत्वम् अनुपश्यतः सपर्यगाशुक्रमकायमवर्णम् अस्नवीरं शुद्धमपापविद्धं कविर्मनीषी परिभू स्वयंभू याथा तथ्यतो अर्थान् व्यदधात् शाश्वतीभ्यः समाभ्ययः अंधा तमः प्रविश्यन्ति ये विद्यामुपासते ततो भूय इव ते तमो य उ विद्ययामृताः अन्यदेवाहुर्विद्यया अन्यदाहुरविद्यया इति शुश्रुमधीराणां येन तद्वितचक्षिरे विद्यां च विद्यां च यस्तद्वेदो भयं सः अविद्यां मृत्युं तीर्त्वा विद्यामृतमश्नुते अंधं तमः प्रविशन्ति ये सम्भूतिमुपासते ततो भूय इव ते तमो य उ सम्भूत्यात्मृताः अन्यदाहु संभवात् अन्यदाहुरसंभवात् तिथि शुश्रुमधीराणां येनस्तद्विचक्षिरे सम्भूतिं च विनाशं च यस्तद्वेदो भयं सः विनाशेन मृत्युं तीर्त्वा सम्भूत्यामृतमश्नुते हिरण्मयेन पात्रेण सत्यस्यापि हितं मुखं तत्त्वं पूषणम् अपावृणु सत्यधर्माय दृष्टये पूषणेकर्षयं सूर्यप्राजापत्य व्यूयः रश्मिन् समूह तेजो यत्ते रूपं कल्याणतमं तत्ते पश्यामि यो सावसो पुरुषः सोऽहमस्मि वायुरनिलम् अमृतम् अथेदं भस्मान्तं शरीरम् ॐ क्रतो स्मर कृतं स्मर क्रतो स्मर कृतं स्मर अग्नेनय सुपताराय अस्मान् विश्वानि देव वयुनानि विद्वान् योध्य अस्माजुहुरानमेनो भूयिष्ठां ते नम उक्तिं विधेम ॐ तत्सत् Okay, so yesterday we were discussing this thing. We should always remember what flow we are going. Mahabhagavad spiritual vision. Okay. So Achintya and Atark we have done. Atmanya and Ekatvam Anupashyatah. We are seeing how everything is related with the Lord. Everything and everyone. So that sloka we are doing. Today we will continue with 7th. 6th we have done. So 6th was this, yastu sarvani bhutani atmanyevani pashyati sarva bhuteshu chatmanam tato na bijugupsate. So seeing all the living entities and everything in relation with the Lord. Here Atmani refers to the Lord, not to the Atma. And Anupashyati, Prabhupada, yesterday we read that Prabhupada mentions that we should see in Acharya Parampara. How Acharyas have taught us, in that way we should see. We should not imitate, we should follow. That also we saw yesterday. Sarva bhuteshu chatmanam tatona bijugupsate. Now, today we will also see, before we go ahead, bijugupsate. What other acharyas say about this word? So I will share something. So this is Madhvacharya. Srila Madhvacharya, what he says, the same verse, same mantra, translation what he gives. He who sees everything in the Lord and Lord in everything does not desire to protect himself. So Vijugupsate, Sanskrit word, it has two meanings. One meaning is he does not hate anyone, which Prabhupada says. And here Madhvacharya says he does not desire to protect himself. But other things are quite similar. What two things? Everything in the Lord, and Prabhupada divides everything into everything and everyone, like living entity, animate things, and then non-animate things are these material objects. So they should also be seen in the Lord, and living entity also should be seen in the Lord. And then everything, the Lord has to be seen in everything or in everyone. Okay, so this is quite similar, yes. Then when we go ahead, Baldev Vidyabhushan, Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan, what he says, he who sees all beings in Atma, here Atma means same, Paramatma. Here don't misunderstand that Atma means Atma, we know. So Atma, he who sees all being in the Atma and Atma in all being does not hate anyone. he Bijgupsate means he says does not hate anyone. Same thing. Yes. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur also, today Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur disappearance. So he is saying, he who sees all entities in Atma and Atma in all entities does not show hatred to any creature. Quite similar. Now I will also show the Bhagavad Gita talking about the similar thing. सर्वभूतं स्थमात् आत्मा सर्वभूतं स्थमात्मानं सर्वभूतानि चात्मनि ईक्षते योगयुक्तात्मा सर्वत्र समदर्शनः. Sixth chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Sri Krishna, after this question that why mind is so much restless, when this question was asked by Arjuna, in further discussion, he is telling who is that yogi, who is going to attain me. So he is telling the qualifications. So he says, a true yogi observes me in all beings and also see every being in me. Same thing what we are learning in Ishopanishad. Just see, a true yogi observes me in all beings and also sees every being in me. Indeed, the self-realized person sees me and the same Supreme Lord everywhere. Okay. So what do you mean by, okay, one thing we know, Paramatma is there in the heart of everyone. So then we can say Lord is in every being. But when we say we are in the Lord, then how to understand? One thing is Krishna Lila, we know that Krishna showed Yashodamai his, when he opened his mouth, he saw everything, all the cosmic manifestation is there in the mouth. So we can also say that we are in that way. But in Tattva, how to see? So here Srila Prabhupada says, outwardly also, every living being is situated in the energy of the Lord. We are in the energy of the Lord right now. Yes, we are under material energy right now. In the whole world, we are here situated. This is a product of material energy only. As will be explained in the 7th chapter, the Lord has primarily two energy, same material energy and spiritual energy. The living entity, although part of superior energy, is conditioned by inferior energy. The living entity is always in the Lord's energy. Every living entity is situated in him in one way or another. The yogi sees equally because he sees that all living entities, although in different situations according to the result of fruity work, in all circumstances remain the servant of God. While in the material energy, the living entity serves the material senses, and while they are in spiritual energy, he serves the Supreme Lord directly. So in this way, in either case, the living entity is servant of God. This vision of equality is perfect in person in Krishna consciousness. See, same thing. So we are in the material energy right now, situated, depending upon our consciousness. So we are serving the Lord. It means we are protected by the divine energy of the Lord. But when we forget the Lord, we are into the material energy. So this is how we are in the Lord, means we are in the Lord's energy. When he say that we are in the Lord and Lord is in us, means we have to understand in this way. Okay. So these two things we, so now we'll go ahead. यस्मिन् सर्वाणि भूतान्य आत्मैव भूतविजानतः तत्र को मोहकः शोक एकत्वम् अनुपश्यतः. Same extension of the previous sloka. What more benefit one can get? One will not envy when he sees ekatvam of everything with the Lord. Anupashyati, he is seeing. What more benefit he will get? Moha and shoka. There will be no moha, no shoka. Okay, that will. So we read yesterday, one who always see all living entities as a spiritual spark in quality one with the Lord becomes a true knower of things. What then can be illusion or anxiety for him? So we had done the first verse. So I was discussing yesterday also that these two devotees, means two types of devotees, Madhyam Adhikaris and Uttam Adhikaris. they are capable of seeing everything and everyone in connection with the Lord. But Kanishtadhikari cannot see. Therefore, he is advised to advance to the stage of Madhyama so that he will be able to see everything in connection with the Lord. And he will become free from anxiety, illusion, or hatred, or protection, feeling of protection, all these things. So we were discussing about this. Mahabhagavad, the great devotees, sees oneness in the sense that he sees everything as the energy of the Supreme Lord. Since there is no difference between energy and energetic. So, two things are mentioned in this paragraph. One thing is God and his energy, and living being and God. So we'll discuss about this. These two things are. So Jiva Goswami, in his Sandarbha, he gives this connection. Like here, Srila Prabhupada mentions about fire and light. Yes. So fire is there, light will be there. Automatically, light will be there. So absolute truth is like a fire, light is the energy of absolute truth. Okay. But Lord has many energy, and some energies are like we are tathashta, we are marginal, and then material energy is an inferior energy, and spiritual energy is superior energy. So how to understand these things in this example? So then Jiva Goswami gives in Sandarbha that consider sun god. Sun god is Krishna, you should consider. And the radiance which is coming out from the sun, it is a Swarup Sakti or internal energy of the Lord, which is very near, very close to him. So the radiance which is coming out of the sun god, it is a Swarup Sakti, which is very, very near. And now the effulgence, now the rays are coming out of the sun. So that is the Tathashta Sakti, the rays which are coming out of the sun. The radiance coming out of the Lord, that is Sarup Sakti, and the rays coming out of the sun is a Tathashta Sakti. And when the sun is reflected in some water pond into this world, so then sun is seen there. So that reflection is Bahiranga Sakti or material energy. So it means the most powerful energy or most spiritual energy is Sarup Sakti, very near to the Lord. And we can also see like we are not as powerful. Yes, we are also Tatash Sakti. So we have a propensity to either go into material energy or spiritual energy. Tatashta. Therefore, it is said marginal energy. So, but we are having the spiritual spark, that spiritual sense is there with us. But material energy fully bereft. It is totally jad vastu. So therefore, it is said the whole spirit, is whole energy has been means finished. Now the reflection does not have very little have significance of light. Means it's a simply darkness only. So for this, therefore, this world is called dark, ignorance, the place of ignorance or darkness, because the light is not there, and light is Krishna or his superior energy. Jiva Goswami gives this example. In this way, we can see the difference in the energies. Now, for Jiva, in Madhya Lila 18.112, I will open 18.112. सन्यासी चित कण जीव किरण कण समा सद ऐश्वर्य पूर्ण कृष्ण हयस सूर्योपमा. Yes, Kishwar Madhav Prabhuji, can you read?
Yes, Prabhu. A sannyasi in the renounced order is certainly part and parcel of the complete whole, just as shining molecular particle of sunshine is part and parcel of the sun itself. Krishna is like the sun, full of six opulences, but the living entity is only a fragment of the complete whole.
Just see, it is mentioned. So, Chatan Mahaprabhu is saying, जीव ईश्वर तत्व कबू न है समा Jwalad Agni Rasi Aiche Spulinge Rakana. Yes. Go ahead.
Okay, Prabhu. I'm not able to see the screen, Prabhu.
Okay. Now,
Same. A living entity and the absolute personality of Godhead are never to be considered equal, just as a fragmental spark can never be considered the original flame.
so this truth has been mentioned again and again, and Srila Prabhupada is simply repeating the same thing in his books. That Jiva Ishwar Tattva Kabu Naha Nahe Sama. Jiva and Ishwar Tattva, they are never equal. Jwalad Agni Rasi Yaiche Sphulinger Kana. So Sphulinger means spark. So we are fragmental portion of the fire, which is or the, you can say the, we are like a spark only. And the large flame, the Jwalat Agni Rasi is a Ishwar Tattva and Jeev Tattva is Sphulinger. So we are like, okay. And the Sakti Matayor Abheda. Yesterday we were discussing this is Shruti Mantra, Sakti Matayor Abheda. There is no difference between Shakti and Shaktiman. Like Jesus also said that my father and we are one. It means I align with the father. It does not mean we are one. I align with the father. And we also see Ardhanarishwar like Lord Shiva and Parvati. And then Lakshmi Narayan, Sitaram, Radha Krishna. Okay. So these are the tattva about the energy and energetic. We'll go ahead. Yes, Prabhuji, you can continue from here. In this mantra. Here.
In this mantra, the word ekatvam anupashyate indicates that one should see the unity of all living entities from the viewpoint of revealed scriptures. The individual sparks of the supreme whole, the Lord, possesses almost 80% of the known qualities of the whole, but they are not quantitatively equal to the Supreme Lord. These qualities are present in minute quantity, for the living entity is but a minute part and parcel of the Supreme Whole. To use another example, the quantity of salt present in the drop of seawater is never comparable to the quantity of salt present in the complete ocean, but the salt present in the drop is qualitatively equal.
Correct.
Equal in chemical composition to all the salt present in the ocean. If the individual living being were equal to the Supreme Lord, both qualitatively and quantitatively, there would be no question of his being under the influence of material energy. In the previous mantras, it has already been discussed that no living being, not even the powerful demigods, can surpass the Supreme Being in any respect. Therefore, Ekatvam does not mean that living being is equal to the Supreme Lord in all respect. It does, however, indicate that in a broader sense, there is one interest, just as in a family, the interest of all members is one, or in a nation, the national interest is one. Although there are many different individual citizens, since the living entities are all members of same supreme family, their interest and that of supreme being are not different. Every living being is a son of supreme being, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita 7.5, 7.6. All living creatures throughout the universe, including birds, reptiles, ants, aquatic trees, and so on, are emanations of the marginal potential of Supreme Lord. Therefore, all of them belong to the family of Supreme Being. There is no clash of interest.
Now here, Srila Prabhupada more clearly mentions what do you mean by ekatvam. So that we'll discuss after some time. But here we'll see ekatvam anupashyati indicates that one should see the unity of all living entities from the viewpoint of revealed scripture. Okay. So then Prabhupada mentioned that we are having 80% of qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In minute quantity, Lord has 100%. So, and then we are having 80%. So when we are in our perfect state, when we are fully realized soul, and we are in connection with the Lord, we are trying to serve the Lord. So that time, our full grown quality is 80%, minute quantity. Like we may be humble, but we will not be as much humble as the Lord. Lord is having quality like Bhrigu Muni, he kicked on his chest. So nobody can challenge Lord in any quality also, because all qualities are coming from him. So he is a Sad Aishwarya Punna is a, okay. Aishwarya means the knowledge, the renunciation. So these Aishwarya are there, but at the same time, the qualities which are mentioned in NOD, that Lord has unlimited qualities. So 64 qualities are mentioned in the Lord. Lord Vishnu has 60 qualities. Lord Shiva has 55 qualities, and we have 50 qualities. So when you calculate in the percentage, it comes around 80. 80% we have qualities of the Lord, 79 or 80%. So therefore, we are part and parcel, like father, like son. So many times people say that, like one person was saying that actually God is simply imagination. You find out, if you want to find out God among dog, so you find out the best dog, so then you make him God. You want to find some God among humans, so you find out best human and make him God. So that is what people are doing. So no. And he was saying that actually God is simply imitations of humans, because he has also had 2 hands and 2 legs. So like this he was concluding. But we know from Bhagavad Gita, Abjananti Mamura, Manusum Tanumashritam. We are not, means we have not created God. God is already there. Like, like one small child is there. He goes to school, start weeping and crying because he is remembering his mother and father. And then teacher says in the school, hey, why are you creating some imagination of father and mother? There is no mother and father. You should not cry. But no, mother and father is there. He's not creating any imagination. Okay, my mother looks like that, father. No, in the similar way, we are part and parcel of the Lord. The God is there, and we are his part and parcel. It's not that we came first and he came later. We created him. So many people have this wrong imagination, that they are thinking that God has been created by human's mind, just to keep some peace, just to glorify somebody. So they have created from there. So this is all coming from 200-gram gray matter of these people brains. So quality of salt present in the drop of the sea water is never comparable to the quality of salt present in complete ocean. So many demons, they try to become God by worshipping. Srila Prabhupada say God never did austerity to become God. He was God from the birth. He gave example of Putana. He killed Putana effortlessly, just by his lips. He killed her. Saktasur, just by his toes, he kicked by his toes, and then Saktasur died. Finish. Yes. Like this, he killed so many. Keshi, what he did? Just he put his hand inside his mouth. Then he started burning. Finish. He also finished. Kansa, what he did? He just went and then caught his this collar and then threw him on ground. Finish. Khatam. And what Lord Varaha did with the Hiranyaksh? Nothing. Just slapped him here below the ear. Died. Narsimhadev, what he did? Just took the nails, and then tore apart. Finish. So we find that God's activities are achintya. It's a adbhut karmana. So he has unlimited energy, unlimited potency. He can do anything. Nobody can compare with him. So we should not, and we should never try to become God. Even though sometimes it is there that Gyanis, they become frustrated. So then they want to leave the world and they want to enjoy the godly opulence by becoming God. So that is simply their myth. Prabhupada says that is their myth. They will never become God. And in that way, they never even become liberated also, if they have this conception, because they offend Supreme Lord. Yes. Now, the last 4th verse in Ishopanishad, it was saying that how absolute truth is different from the demigods. So therefore, Prabhupada is connecting this verse. If that is there, that is why we are discussing here the difference between us and the Lord. If demigods can equal Lord, then what is the use of discussing these things here? That Lord is quantitatively different from us. Lord has supreme power, he is omnipotent, and we are having the all qualities around 80%, but little amount. We cannot become equal to God. Why we are discussing all these things? Because we have already discussed that demigods cannot equal him. What we can do, we can also not equal him. Okay, then he talks about what do you mean by ekatvam anupashyati. Ekatvam. So he gives the more detailed description here. Ekatvam means a living being is equal to the either like a family, same interest. Like children have same interest of the family, same interest. Like, okay, we have mother, father. Mother, father have decided we have to study, so they will study. Mother, father have decided we have to go for picnic, we'll go for picnic. Okay, mother, father have decided that we should now rest, so we'll rest. So the whole thing is dependent upon the superior interest. This is called ekatvam. See, ekatvam is a feast for Gyanis. They like to hear ekatvam a lot. Impersonalist, ekatvam. We want to become a one with the Supreme Lord. But Srila Prabhupada mentions ekatvam already disapproved in a fourth verse. The demigod cannot be ekatvam with the Supreme Lord in power. They cannot reach Lord. So now what here ekatvam is spoken is family. Same interest. Like now Jagannath Rath Yatra is going to come. So now devotees, they may have so many sevas. So now they will change all their mindset, all their schedules they will change. Okay, now Lord's Rath Yatra is there. We have to be ready for celebrating Rath Yatra. Now family function, institution function. Okay, chalo. So then from morning then till evening, all the devotees are in the Rath Yatra. Like today in the lecture we were discussing about it. Raisham was giving lecture. So how the Lord Chaitanya was so happy by seeing the Lord Jagannath coming out of the temple and sitting on the Rath cart, so many rituals and being conducted there. And then Lord was staying before that with the Lakshmi ji for 15 days. And then convincing her that I'm going out. And then after that he sits on the throne, and then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dances in the whole Rath Yatra. So the devotees are all ready. So this is the ekatvam. They have no hindrance. They will give up everything and just be happy with the Lord's pleasure. They are happy with the Lord's function. This is the ekatvam here mentioned, the same family interest as the Lord. So, but opposite to that, what happens in this world? Opposite to that, what happened in this world? Here mentioned moha and soka. When people don't have similar interests like a Lord, so then we have a moha. Moha for what? Like a graduate boy, he has a moha for job. I want job. Moha. Then he goes and sits in the interview, and somebody else, more intelligent person, he goes and he gives the interview and he gets the job. Gaya, moha gaya uska. My job now lost. Many times it happens. Yes, in colleges, company seats are limited. So those who are intelligent, they take away the job. Then after that, then he has a moha, marry. I will marry most beautiful girl. Okay. Then he tries. He becomes very smart. Everything, and then that also moha goes away. After, even if he marries, then he comes to the ground level. He understands what is a real marriage. He understands after that. So that also moha goes away. So this moha is there. If somebody gets satisfied with the what moha he has in his life, so then he becomes proud. Okay, I have got a dream job. Now I have so many servants, I have so much wealth, so much property, so many people. He becomes proud. And pride comes with fear. Fear also comes. Okay, nobody should take away all these things. Fear is always there. Am I so much property is there? Nobody should loot me. And if something happens, then shoka. So shoka, moha, and bhaya. Bhaya is there given in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Here mentioned two things, shoka and moha. So shoka and moha, those who are not having the similar interest with the Lord, they go through this kind of problems in their life. So bhakti, now we were just seeing in the last shloka mantra also, that we want to unite, but materially we cannot unite. Materially there is diversity. So we have to bring spiritual aspect to unite each other. Okay. But even we are all devotees, we find even among devotees there are so many differences, diversity. Yes, we are together, but we also have different things. And when we go to spiritual world, we'll find that diversity to the large extent. But interest will be there, similar to serve Krishna. But there is also diversity. Like Krishna has so many gopas, so many gopis. It's not that Krishna is releasing same kind of pleasure from each gopi. No, he has a different mellow. Therefore, it's called Raso Vaisaha. He is a Rasraj. His mellow is different from each living entities. He had 16,108 wives. He has 16,108 expansions to derive mellow from each wives. So one cannot say why again redundancy. Okay, again puna charvita charvana. No, nothing puna. Everything is new there. So one thing is diversity in this world. The more we become diverse, there are a lot of problems because resources are limited. So therefore we have to unite on the spiritual aspect. But when we go more, the bhakti also teaches that there is diversity in the spiritual life. Also there is diversity. So bhakti takes us beyond unity and diversity to diversity in unity. So there is a diversity in spiritual life. Prabhupada used to say variety is the mother of enjoyment. So in Rasa dance, Gopal Champu mentions, Jiva Goswami mentions in Gopal Champu, that after Krishna left gopis because they became proud, each gopi, they sang their own prayer. Means they had their own shloka to how they were feeling for Krishna in their heart. In Bhagavatam, it is mentioned Gopiya Uchuhu, means all the gopis, all together Sukadeva Goswami mentions. But Gopal Champu gives more description that the names of the gopis, like Lalita, I spoke this verse, Visakha, I spoke this verse, another gopi spoke this verse. Like this, the gopis. It means there's a diversity. Different feelings are there for all the gopis. So Srila Prabhupada clearly mentions that even in the spiritual world, there is an individuality. We cannot say that we are frustrated with individuality in this world. So therefore, we have to unite ourselves, understanding we are Brahma, we are Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi. But beyond that, again, there is a diversity in spiritual life. And with that diversity, we have to keep in mind that we are having similar interest with the Lord. We are having same interest that we have to serve the Lord. All of us want to please the Lord, even though we have diversity among ourselves. Yes. Realization of perfect form of oneness leads to cessation of illusion and lamentation. Yes. Who can read now? Nisha Ram Krishnan. Mataji is there? Hare Krishna.
I can read, Prabhu.
Okay. Yes. Who is there?
Nagnajiti Priya.
Yes, Mataji, you can read.
The spiritual entities are meant for enjoyment, as stated in the Vedanta Sutra, Ananda Mayo Bhashyat. By nature and constitution, every living being, including the Supreme Lord and each of his parts and parcels, is meant for eternal enjoyment. The living beings who are engaged in the material tabernacle are constantly seeking enjoyment, but they are seeking it on the wrong platform. Apart from the material platform is the spiritual platform, where the Supreme Being enjoys himself with his innumerable associates. On that platform, there is no trace of material qualities, and therefore that platform is called Nirguna. On the Nirguna platform, there is never a clash or the object of enjoyment. Here in the material world, there is always a clash between different individuals, beings, because here the proper center of enjoyment is missed. The real center of enjoyment is the Supreme Lord, who is the center of the sublime and spiritual rasa dance. We are all meant to join him and enjoy life with one transcendental interest and without any clash. That is the highest platform of spiritual interest. And as soon as one realizes this perfect form of oneness, there can be no question of illusion, moha, or lamentation, shoka.
Okay. So the real center of enjoyment is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we are meant to join with Him. Srila Prabhupada used to say that even our chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, it is also a Ras Leela, because we have the similar interest. What is the interest? We are enjoying with the Lord. Srila Prabhupada used to say, what is our process? Chanting, feasting, dancing. In spiritual world also we have to do the same things. And the Shoka Moha, why it is there? Because of different interest, independent desires, misusing our free will to enjoy our independent desires. So that is the cause of Soka and Moha. So very simple. It is mentioned. Spiritual life is actually simple but difficult to apply. So here the example is given. On the Nirguna platform, there is never clash over object of enjoyment. This is very important. In material world, everyone has Purusha Bhava. Man or woman, everyone has. Man wants to become Purusha. Prakrite hi bhankte pratigunanjana karanam guna sangvasya sadasad yoni janmasu. Purusha prakrito isthohi bhunkte pratijanana. So everybody wants to become Ishwar in material world. So that is why there is a clash, because center is not there. Like example is given, if you throw the stone in the river, so ripples will be formed around the stone. Again, if you throw another stone somewhere else, so then both the ripples, they will collide. The ripples formed from one stone and another, they will collide. But if you throw the same another stone at the same center where you threw the first stone, the ripples will not collide, but it will synergize. It will increase in such a way that it will agitate the waves more and more. Resonance will happen. So our Ananda will be resonating more and more. Right now we are frustrated because all of us have independent desire, and so they are colliding with each other. Nobody is happy with it. We have already divorced Krishna, and we have a lot of fights with others. So a lot of relational problem happens. Why? Because this thing is not very clear with us. We are still in a neophyte stage actually. This is the reality. Because we are not able to see the ekatvam. So when we see this ekatvam, the singular object of enjoyment, similar object of enjoyment, and that is a nirguna platform. Here we are in guna. We are having the Satugun, Rajagun, Tamogun. So these gunas pollute our relationship. And so then we become conditioned to think in certain way, to do in certain way. And we are then conditioned by moha and soka. Like this it happens. So Kapil Muni says in third canto, what are the...
Just one question regarding ekatva.
Yes, what is the question?
Actually, as you mentioned that every devotee wants to do their seva differently. Okay, so while doing this seva, sometimes what it happens is that although every devotee does his seva, while the seva is not maybe different, and then sometimes we might want to correct that devotee. Okay, so there are two options: that leave that whatever it is done, leave as it is, and other way is that to humbly tell him that Prabhuji, this can be done other way, in better way, but it becomes difficult. So to what extent corrections can be done, or should we leave it?
Okay.
So this difference, as you said, is in a spiritual world also, but in material world it might be mixed with modes that can be there, but still as as we might understand that this can be done in a better way, and that could be the better, because we have seen that in the past something is done and that was better way, and that devotee might not know. So to what extent we should tell, or should we just leave whatever is done as it is?
Srila Prabhupada says in the Pracheta sections that all the 10 Prachetas were together, and there Prabhupada mentions about the difference of opinion. There he mentions the difference of opinion can be there in how to serve the Lord, but difference of opinion should not be there how to enjoy materially or how to have some material goals. Okay, somebody has material goals, he wants to earn some respect through service, or want to show off that I have done the best service. This is material lingering. So then he will also be fighting for service. Oh, I want service. I want service. Okay, I want to do, because then my name will be glorified. Your name will not. So then after fighting, why the resolution does not come? Because there is somewhere material linger is there. Otherwise, it will be solved. Either, like you are saying, either the other person says, okay, whatever way you like, Lord is pleased with that, okay, you do that. So then this person is understanding, okay, this is also a right way, but it may not be the best way. Okay, let him do. Chalega, ho gaya. But if I am also in the project, he is also in the project, then I have to come out of the project to satisfy him. And then I am ready to make that sacrifice. And then all discussion among the authorities has already happened. He is not listening. So then we understand there is some material lingering going on. Everybody has concluded, but not listening. So material lingering going on. Some post position, name, fame, wanted. Okay, we'll hand over. Will come out. So surely these things are there. So in Krishna's kingdom, Nirguna platform, there is no such kind of things. Maya cannot touch only. See, in material world, again, we cannot say that we can have very idealistic society. There will be everybody, okay, one devotee may not be affected by material modes in one situation, but he will be affected in by material in other situation. Yes, he may be glorified in this situation, but he may not be glorified unless he's really advanced. If one is very advanced, so he's setting a good example. But everybody is not advanced. So then they are going through the purification process. And then we have to accept. We have to accept that, yeah, he is also devotee, he is struggling. He may be having some material change. And so therefore, the service is getting affected. So what can be done? Krishna has to purify everyone. We cannot think that everything is so idealistic. We cannot have. Otherwise, then you have to go to spiritual world. We will not find it. Spiritual world is the only place. Even you find when 4 Kumaras came on the door, Vaikuntha, and there was a fight. 4 Kumaras. Fight was there. They were saying, how can you not allow us? You are behaving like a person in material world who checks. No person having material motives or material goals can come to this Vaikuntha platform, and you are thinking that you are checking us. Actually, these servants of Vishnu, they simply wanted to serve. They don't want to check that much, but still, whatever seva was given, they were doing. But they also may not be knowing that these are 4 Kumaras. And what is the problem if they're checking? But these 4 Kumaras were so much proud with the knowledge. They went there, and then they were enraged, and then they cursed them. Can you take birth in the material world as the demons? We know that behind that Lord Vishnu's arrangement was also there. They wanted to serve Lord, please Lord. The Lord wanted to fight. So therefore they said to the Lord, okay, please make some arrangement so that we become demon and we fight. So then this arrangement was done. But we can also learn the lesson, as Madhvacharya says, that we can learn from any scriptural incident. We can learn what values, what ethical lessons we have to follow. So here there was a clash. And who solved the clash? Vishnu. Lord Vishnu came to the door and told, oh, okay. Brahmanas, you have come to my place. I adore Brahmana very much. Even I am ready to lop off my hand to fulfill their desires. If my servants have committed mistake, even it has deeper meaning also. It has deeper meaning that I'm able to ready to cut my body to satisfy you. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur mentions that Lord was exaggerating something to please this Brahmana, because this Brahmana could not understand why Lord is saying everything that you Brahmana, because of you I am getting purity. Lakshmi is there on my chest because of all of you. He is glorifying too much. So, because when somebody is very much enraged, we have to glorify him. This is one of the quality we learn from there. Brahmana should not be enraged. If Brahmana becomes enraged, he will curse. So immediately he has to be glorified. This also we learn. So even at that door, there is a fight. So then Lord Vishnu solves the problem. But what was the problem again? Material things was there. Impersonalism was there. That was the cause of fight. Now, can we say there is no fight among devotees in spiritual world? There also fight is there. We hear from Padma Puran, sometimes Gopa Gopis fight. And then Gopis, they curse, okay, you go, you become this. So then they come to material world. That is like Sankachuda. Sankachuda pastime comes. And he is from spiritual world. He is one of the Gopa. He becomes here Sankachuda. So ultimately, we all have a different desires. And sometimes we may up and down, or we have certain desires coming in our heart, and that may be provoked by the Lord in spiritual world, even though it's a Nirguna platform. And Lord wants to play some pastime with us, so then he will send us from there to here. And we are happy to serve Lord, either here or there. So this is the thing. And while our society is growing, we have to understand these things are quite common. Unless it affects devotional service of somebody, one should take humble position. Otherwise, both will fight, both will go out of bhakti. So what is the use? Srila Prabhupada said, one disciple of Srila Prabhupada asked, Prabhupada, I want to go away from bhakti because your devotees are fighting. They're not listening. So he said, whose harm you are making? You are making your harm. You are going out of bhakti. It's not that you are doing some daya on other devotees. You are causing harm to yourself. After so many lives, you've got bhakti. Now you're going out of bhakti. It's a whose harm? So like that. Okay. So real, okay, I've done now this. Okay, I was saying the Kapil Muni. I will open the shloka number. So Kapil Muni says, what are the lakshana of pure devotee? How they think? And the similar kind of thinking is there, Kunti Maharani also. It comes in the 3.29.11. मद्गुणा श्रुति मात्रेण मयि सर्वगुहासे मनोगतिर्विच्छिन्ना यथा गंगां बुधो लक्षणं भक्ति योगस्य निर्गुणस्य हैउदाहृतम् अहेतुक अविवहिता या भक्ति पुरुषोत्तमे. So here basic thing is yatha gangam vaso ambudho. This is important. Why we are knowing about it? Like many times the Mayavadis or the impersonalists, they say we are like a river and Supreme Lord is like an ocean. And when we flow, we go and mix and then we lose our identity. And here Prabhupada says we don't lose our identity. We are having the similar interest. We are having the diversity in the spiritual world. We are still individual. So here he also says, my devotee's mind is like their devotion flows like a Ganga. Ganga Ambaso Budho. Means Ganga, any obstacle comes in front of Gangaji, she will go through it or up or through sides anyway, and she will go ahead to meet the ocean. Like we are giving the example, like devotees, they on the Rath Yatra day, they give up everything and then they start celebrating Rath Yatra because they know that now these are hindrance, no need to worry now, tomorrow we'll worry. Today we will celebrate with the Lord. So they give up everything. Other things also devotion service, but now here it's Lord is wanting something, okay, let us go ahead. So they have similar desire. Ganga Ambuso Ambudo. So they are Ambudo means ocean. So Ganga is very fastly rushing towards the ocean. Even Kunti Maharani also says that her mind should rush towards the Lord Sri Krishna like a Ganga. Okay. Yes. Who can read now? Anurag Agarwal Prabhu. Yes. Can you read? Anurag Agarwal.
Yes, Prajesh, sure. To get rid of all sorts of illusions and anxiety, we must bring God into all our activities. A godless civilization arises from illusion, and the result of such a civilization is lamentation. A godless civilization, such as that sponsored by the modern politicians, is always full of anxieties because it may be crushed at any moment. That is a law of nature. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita 7.14, None but those who surrender at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord can surpass the stringent laws of nature. Thus, if we wish to get rid of all sort of illusion and anxiety and create unity out of all diverse interests, we must bring God into all our activities.
This is the sum and substance of this shloka. That godless realization arises from illusion. What is that illusion? Here, moha and shloka, which Prabhupada is mentioning. Illusion is to consider ourselves separate. This is illusion. I am this body, that is moha, and this world is mine, or family people are mine, that is mahamoha. So this is an illusion. So this illusion is keeping us always into moha, shoka, bhaya. All these things are the corollary of this same illusion. So godless civilization means not keeping God in the center, not connecting ourselves with the Lord, thus seeing our material relationship, seeing our material goals only. So that is what here it is mentioned. A godless civilization such as is sponsored by the modern politician, Prabhupada writes, is sponsored by modern politician, is always full of anxiety because it may be crushed at any moment. Yes, it has happened. Politicians, as we discussed earlier, they also sponsor ekatvam concept, but it gets finished one time. Like we find, even in India, we cannot say that all the states are together. There are still fights among the states. We may try to combine them. Okay, we are all Indian, have under same flag, but there are difference of opinion. And why different? And the different opinion will increase more, the more godless civilization will be there. Prabhupada writes in the first canto that there is a fight between China and India for a land which cannot be inhabited, land which is useless, which is not to be inhabited. For that, India and China were fighting. Prabhupada said, why they were fighting? For what reason? Like children, sometimes they fight for toys. But elderly man or a father can see, just for some 500 or 1000 rupees toy, both are fighting, disturbing, trying to snatch and then beat one another. So why? So Prabhupada writes, why? Because earlier people were God conscious. They were having fear of God, God fearing. Now they have become godless. Godless means we have nate vidu swarthagatam hi Vishnu durasaya bahirarthamanina. Considering material objects to be more important than spiritual consciousness or God consciousness. And that time the people lose the behavior of a human and they start behaving like an animal. This is what's happening nowadays. So therefore, the first and foremost thing to unite the society today also or for future also is to spread God consciousness. Without God consciousness, any unity, like somebody wants to make Varnashrama, okay, Varnashram we want to establish, but without this God consciousness preaching, Varnashram cannot come. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada used to say, first people should chant Harinam, then they will get brain. Okay, what I have to do right, what I should not do. This is right, this is wrong. They will understand where I am existing, what is my connection with God. Once this is established, then some siddhir haritoshnam. First, this should be there. Haritoshnam. I meant for haritoshnam. I should satisfy Hari. Then, ataha pumbirduja sreshta varnashram vibhagasa. Then we can divide. Okay, no problem. First, people should accept God as authority. Then society can be divided. Godless people can never come together and divide society in a proper way. So this is the whole thing. So ekatvam anupashyati. So bringing God into all our activities. That is a solution for all kind of illusion and anxiety. Okay, any question? Okay, we'll go ahead. So after knowing about the two shlokas about ekatvam, we understood ekatvam means we have to see family interest. Like Lord is our father. like among like Prabhuji asked the question about sometimes fight among services. Again, the devotee sees who is our father, who is our concerned authority, our spiritual master, Gurudev, how he will feel if I fight with the devotee. He will feel displeased, so I will not fight. How my counselor have taught how I should behave. I should behave in a humble way. Still, behaving in humble way does not mean don't solve the issue. Sometimes people are humble. Prabhuji, you take all the seva, Prabhuji. I will do nothing. No, 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 Prabhuji. I am very humble. Arey, this is nonsense. This is not humility. This is you can say, same thing what like Prabhupada says, trying to imitate the great souls. You're not at that stage. Like one time, one Maharaj was saying that one devotee was there. So many devotee understood he is very advanced, because whomsoever used to see used to just fall flat on ground. Dandavat means no consideration what is down. Down patthar hai ya kya hai, or he is standing on the roof, he will fall down from there also. Dandavat. No consideration. So one time he was on the roof doing something, and some sannyasi came and he fell. Dandavat. He fell from the roof down. So later devotees understood he has some psychic problem. He's not advanced. His mind is disturbed, or his mind is not developed. So this should not be there actually. We have to apply the humility, as here mentioned, that pure devotee can see soul in every living entity, so he cannot do any violence. He cannot mistreat anyone because he's seeing everyone equally. So for him, humility is very natural. But those who are on Madhyam Adhikari also, or even on the Kanishta Adhikari, for them, yata yata, according to the position, like if we are taught how we should associate in the NOI, those who are very advanced devotees, we should serve them because they have no criticizing mentality. For those who have been initiated by the spiritual master, we should offer them obeisances. We should learn from them. But association, it is mentioned, the most we should take from Uttama. It is said, okay, we should nourish ourselves so that our devotional creeper should grow. And to Kanishta, or those who are not initiated, so then we can offer obeisances in the mind. It is mentioned. So now here it is mentioned how we should offer respects. But when it comes to the Uttama, how he offers respects? He offers respects, he sees everyone equal. Only thing he also sees their difference. Like I mentioned, that Krishna is here and dog particle is here, Brahmana particle is near. So there's a difference. He sees that, but he knows that all of them are soul. And I have to preach this dog particle if he can do it. Otherwise, some atheist particle, and bring closer to the devotee stage, so that he can practice bhakti. So he also sees the difference, but he sees everyone as a soul. Madhyam Adhikari cannot see. Madhyam Adhikari will see he is a devotee, he is a non-devotee, he is a theist, he is a non-atheist. Okay, whom I have to preach him. Whom I have to associate as a friend, I will associate. Whom I have to offer my love to Krishna, this is the Lord Sri Krishna, I have to offer my love. And this is a theist, I have to remain away. So this happens like that. So this Madhyama and Uttama can properly see everything in connection with the Lord. So we should associate with these two kind of devotees. It does not mean, again, to not respect neophytes. Many times we may be neophyte, we need some higher neophyte to associate with us so that we can advance. We cannot judge so immediately that Prabhu, you are neophyte, I will associate with Madhyama. So about this we will learn more in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, about what Rupa Goswami says. Okay, we'll go ahead. Saparyaga Shukram Akayam Varnam Ashnaviram Suddham Apapa Vidham Kabir Manishi Paribhu Swayambhu Yathatyato Artham Vedadhash Shashvatibhya Samabhyaya. Now, after telling about Ekatvam, in this verse, it is mentioned what are the qualities of that Supreme Lord with whom we want to see Ekatvam. What are his qualities? Till now it is told he's a Nirguna, he's a Saguna. But what are those? Let us now consolidate at one place and tell who is that personality. Now see, Ishopanishad is not directly telling like बेणुम कवंतम अरविंद दलाय टाक्षम, ये नहीं बोल रहे ईशोपनिषद कि भैया बेणु पकड़े हुए हैं और he has a peacock feather and tribhanga lalitam, and he is wearing the yellow pitambri like dhoti, and he is having on his waist the buffalo bugle and the venu in the hand. Ishopanishad not telling. Ishopanishad's purpose is to introduce the readers of the Vedic literature to absolute truth. Their purpose right now is not to disclose who is that absolute truth. They want to keep him hiding right now. And they will disclose, like best of the Upanishad is Gita Upanishad. So Krishna directly says, as we saw the verse, Krishna is saying, he sees me. He introduces also the yogi, Yomam Sarvati Pashyata Sarvam Cha Mai Pashyati. And then Krishna mentions, he is seeing me. He is introducing who is that Pashyati. To whom is Pashyati? To me he is Pashyati. So he is telling to me. Krishna is not keeping in hiding actually. So here it is hidden that who is that Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such a person must factually know the greatest of all personality, the personality of Godhead, who is unembodied, omniscient, beyond reproach, without vein, pure and uncontaminated, the self-sufficient philosopher who has been fulfilling everyone's desire since time immemorial. So, Saha means that person, Paryagat means he must know in fact, Sukram, omnipotent. Other acharyas describe Sukram means dazzling. He is very much dazzling. Prakash is coming from him. Akayam means unembodied. So these things we are going to learn one by one. Akayam. Avarnam, without reproach, means nobody can criticize him. Oh, why are you doing this thing? This is not allowed. Why are you playing rasa dance? No, nobody can say. Akayam, without reproach. Asna Viram, without veins. His body has no blood veins, no blood vessels. Suddham, antiseptic. Antiseptic means which is given so that disease should not come. Antiseptic. Apapa Vidham, prophylactic means if disease comes, how it should be cured. So Apapa Vidham, he can just evaporate away all the drops of sin. जो भी sin आता भी है, he can evaporate away everything. That is his power. Like he's like a sun. Any water particle cannot go near sun. It will immediately be evaporated, finished. Kavi, omniscient. Manisi, philosopher. Paribhu, the greatest of all. Swayambhu, the self-sufficient. Yatha tatyatah, just in the pursuance of arthan, desirable. Vedadhat, awards. Shashvatibhya, immemorial, and samabhyaya, time. So Prabhupada has taken one thing and described in his purport. Okay. Who can read? Yes, Shri Ganga Putra Prabhuji, can you read?
Yes, Ishwar.
Hmm.
Here is a description of the transcendental and eternal form of the absolute personality of Godhead. The Supreme Lord is not formless. He has his own transcendental form, which is not at all similar to the forms of the mundane world. The forms of the living entities in this world are embodied in the material nature, and they work like any material machine. The anatomy of material body must have a mechanical construction with Venus and so forth, but the transcendental body of the Supreme Lord has nothing like Venus. It is clearly stated here that he is unembodied, which means that there is no difference between his body and his soul, nor is he forced to accept a body according to the laws of nature, as we are. In materially conditioned life, the soul is different from the gross embodiment and subtle mind. For the Supreme Lord, however, there is never any such a difference between him and his body and the mind. He is the complete whole, and his mind, body, and he himself are all one and the same.
Okay. I think it's continuing the same. Okay, go ahead. You can
Yeah.
finish. Yeah, you
In
can
the
go ahead.
yes, well, in the Brahma Samhita 5.1, there is a similar description of the Supreme Lord. He is described there as a Satchit Anand Vigraha, which means that he is the eternal form, fully representing transcendental existence, knowledge, and bliss. As such, he does not require a separate body or a mind, as we do in material existence. The Vedic literature clearly states that the Lord's transcendental body is completely different from ours. Thus, he is sometimes described as a formless. This means that he has no form like ours, and that he is devoid of, of a form we can conceive of. In the Brahma Samhita 5.32, it is further
Okay.
stated that
Okay. We'll discuss now.
yes,
So here it is mentioned Akayam and Ashnaviram. So Akayam means unembodied. He has not been given any body. No body has been given to him. So, like the material creation happened when Lord Vishnu, he was sleeping in the causal ocean, and then he impregnated the Mahatattva. He just looked from his eyes on Mahatattva, and then all the ingredients are there in the Mahatattva. He impregnated through Kala and Jiva. So in the material nature, three modes were there, but they were in equilibrium form. Nobody was picking up some priority. So therefore nothing was happening in matter. When Lord Vishnu glanced on the matter, through his glance he sent living entities and time. So this living entity and time, they started reacting, or basically the time started reacting with the three modes, and living entity desires start reacting with that, and that's why it got agitated, and that is the beginning of creation. You will read in the Bhagavatam in this way. So the living entities desire was material. So this Mahatattva, basically it was fully Satguna, but because of lot of material desires with which living entity comes from spiritual world, and Lord puts them all within his body, and then just throws them through his glance into the material nature. So then their desires cause this whole material Mahatattva to form some mode of ignorance, because they will become more prominent because of the desires of living entities. And so Ahankara is created that time. Everything is goodness. How Ahankara came? Ahankara means it's ignorance, basically. Ahankara came because of lot of material desires which we had when we came from a spiritual world. We wanted to enjoy. So then these desires has to be given some form. And so the modes which are very much prominent that time was like all Satuguna. But when we entered, then mode of ignorance became prominent, and then Ahankara was created. And then mind, senses, all these were created later. But the question is, now these senses were created later for all of us. Then who created senses of the Lord who impregnated Mahatattva? Nobody. It was already there. That is why he is unembodied. After the pralay, when Brahmaji also, he will die, his soul will also enter into the body of Mahavishnu, or Garbhodak, Mahavishnu basically. And then what will happen? Sorry, Garbhodak Vishnu, it will enter. And all of us also will enter when this whole Brahmanda will be finished. So when we'll enter, and then when new creation has to be done, again will come out. This happens like that. So when the Brahmanda is finished, then we go into the body of Mahavishnu. And when Brahma sleeps, that time Pralay comes, so all the living entities who gives up their body, they go into the navel of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. But when Brahma also they die, so ultimately Brahma die means Brahmanda has to finish. Brahmand is because of Brahma is the manager. If manager only goes away, then who will manage the Brahmanda? So therefore, Brahma dies means the whole Brahmanda will go into the body of Mahavishnu. That time he will die, finish. And we will also go inside. And then again he will exhale, then Brahmanda will come out. Again he will inhale, Brahma will die. Exhale, Brahma will become alive, live for 100 years. And then when you inhale, goes, he will die. So, but who is creating all the senses of Vishnu? It is not there. It is not there while it is created. It is already there. It's not that it is created by somebody. Nobody was there, and then he was smelling, he was exhaling, he was seeing, he was glancing. So therefore, it is said he is unembodied. Unembodied. Akayam. Nobody was there. Yes. So there is a mention in the Svetasvatar Upanishad, Natasya Pratima Asti. So Baldev Vidyabhushan, there he comments, it means nothing can compare with the transcendental form of the Lord. Natasya Pratima Asti. इसका मतलब क्या है कि भगवान का प्रतिमा मतलब कोई फॉर्म नहीं है, इसका ये मतलब नहीं है. Nothing can compare with the form of the Lord. So in the Lalit Madhav written by Rup Goswami, he writes that one king glorifies the Lord. Earlier, before taking your darshan, I was thinking that I was glorifying with a very nice choices poetry. But now after taking your darshan, I understood how I was glorifying. I was glorifying you like a lord of a village, landlord of a village. You are basically emperor of whole Brahmanda, and I was glorifying like a lord of village, some landlord of village. So how, like we hear that Lord has his like lips like a bimba fruit, teeth like a jasmine, and his eyes like a fish, it going till back, and then he has curly hair locks are there. So these things, when we compare the material, we think, okay, might be Lord is looking like ऐसे ही दिखते होंगे भगवान, like that we can think. But then this king is saying, before what I was thinking and glorifying, it is like I was bringing you to so lower level. But when I saw you, then my whole conception got changed. So therefore it is mentioned, na tasya pratima asti. Nobody can compare the Lord's body. So Lord's body, as it is mentioned here, Prabhupada, that material body is very complex. We can see, yes, it is so much complex material body. Scientists can't design this body. They can just wait that body should come out. They cannot design. So much complex this body is. Small nerves are there, and so many functionalities are going ahead. They may explain why it is happening, but they can never create. Prabhupada said, if you're really scientist, create a mosquito first. Create a mosquito which can fly at his will, and it can land down, and it can suck the blood and again fly. Can you create? We cannot create. So we cannot create mosquito also. Okay, so these bodies are given to us. Why? Because we wanted to fulfill our independent desire. So to understand this way, like a father wants to drive a car, and the father, mother, family whole are going for some picnic, and then child says, no, I want to drive car today. So then father says, oh, how can you drive? You don't know. No, I will drive car. So then a father will say, okay, you sit with me, you sit on my lap and you drive. So no, I understood. When I sit on your lap, you will only drive. You will put your hand on the steerings. I want to drive. You go and sit behind. So then he understood he is not listening. So then what can be the solution? One solution is he will tell, okay, come out everyone, let him drive. Once you drive, he will get accident. So what will happen? He will lose his life or something. So this is one solution. Second solution, he will slap him and then lock him into the home. Chalo, ab picnic sab band tumhara. ये दूसरा solution हो सकता है. अब तीसरा क्या हो सकता है solution? He's not allowing him also to go with him. So तीसरा ये हो सकता है कि the father may think, okay, you want to drive, I will purchase a car for you. Because a small child, I will purchase a small car for you. You drive that one. At least this he should agree. So Lord also has this solution. We living entity, we said, Krishna, you are enjoying in spiritual world. I also want to enjoy. Then Krishna said, okay, you come and enjoy with me. What is the problem? No, you get away from here. I want to be the enjoyer. Then he can do two things. He can slap us, you rascal. Either you hear, first you hear rascal, otherwise my devotee will go and preach rascal, rascal. When you go to material world, Prabhupada will come and tell lot of rascal, rascal. So better you hear from me, rascal. What you are doing. So then still we did not, we don't listen. Okay. So then we are not, and he cannot give us also the position. Okay, if we have the position like Dantavakra, he had a Sankha Chakra. Somehow he brought from somewhere, and he started showing everyone he's a Krishna, and Krishna effortlessly killed him. Such a joke. He was telling to Krishna, give away your chakra. From where you have taken away my chakra. You have stolen my chakra. Give away. Give to me now. And Krishna was laughing, smiling, and thinking, oh, what is this nonsense? He's joking, and that also is so serious. So then Krishna cannot give us spiritual, okay, now you handle, I will go away now. He cannot do that. We'll really create a lot of mess. So the third option comes. He gives us paddling car. Okay, now you paddle. A small car he will give us. So this body is like car, ahankar, which we understand it's my body. I will now operate the way I want. So therefore he has given this body and this world. Okay, now you go and you play. So we know this child, if the father gives him a paddling car after some driving, he will get frustrated, like, bahut ho gaya, abhi chalo picnic chalte papa. So then he will leave away the paddling car and will go with the father. So this is how the world has also been designed. When we get frustrated by operating this body, by enjoying this body, we'll start searching for truth. And then we'll ultimately find Krishna, we'll go back to him. So this is the thing. So why we had been given this body? Because of independent desire. Now, Srila Prabhupada also says, Ashna Venam, without means without veins. Now, see, these things we have to understand. There is a one thing called Arthapatti, postulation. Arthapatti means when two statements are there and both are saying something other and both are true, then how to reconcile both of them? Like a funny statement is given here, like Ravi does not eat throughout the day. This statement is there. Ravi does not eat throughout the day. Second statement is there. Ravi weight is increasing. If Ravi is not eating throughout the day, how his weight is increasing? So what can be the third statement which can reconcile both of them?
Ravi is eating at night, probably.
Yes, correct. Ravi is eating at night, probably. Correct. Secretly, he must be eating at night. So the third statement is reconciling the both. So when we say that Lord does not have body or does not have vein, so in the 8th canto, when Gajendra is praying to the Lord, I will show you the 8.3.9. न विद्यते यस्य च जन्म कर्म वा न नाम रूपे गुणदोष एव वा तथापि लोकाप्यय संभवाय स्वमाया तान्यनुकालमृच्छति तस्मै नमः परेशाय ब्रह्मणे अनंत शक्तये अरूपायोरूपाय नमः आश्चर्य कर्मणे. Two things here. Here it is mentioned karma, janma karma, na janma karma. And here it is mentioned आश्चर्य कर्मणे. Here it is mentioned जन्म कर्म है ही नहीं भगवान आपका, ना विद्यते है ही नहीं, क्या जन्म भी नहीं है कर्म भी नहीं है, बट यहाँ पे क्या बोला जा रहा है? आश्चर्य कर्मणे. आपका जो कर्मणा है, जो आपका एक्टिविटी है, वो आश्चर्य है, अद्भुत है. So this is a contradiction. So then it is said no janma and karma, and here it is said very sublime or very adbhut karma. So then what can be the third statement through this postulation? How we can infer the third statement? क्या हो सकता है? पहले बोला गया कोई कर्म नहीं है, बाद में बोला गया कि आपके कर्म बहुत ही आश्चर्यजनक है, वेरी सरप्राइजिंग वर्क्स और वेरी अद्भुत वर्क यू आर डूइंग. So the third statement which can reconcile both the truth is what? Your activities are transcendental, they are not material. So first it is said, your activities are not material, my lord. Your activities are, they mean to say like that. Here na karma means no material karma. Okay, and here it is mentioned ascharya karmane, means they are spiritual, and that also ascharya, producing ascharya. Adbhut karmane, ascharya, surprising, astonishing activities. So the third statement will reconcile. So that here little technical, basically we are discussing the same thing again and again, what, through different angle, that the Lord has no material form. Another thing here mentioned, arupaya, arupaya, ururupaya. If you see here, arupaya means Lord has no material form, and ururupaya means he is possessing various forms of incarnation. The Lord has many rupa, many incarnation, like unlimited incarnations, like the waves in the ocean, no count. So one thing is ururupaya, and here is saying arupaya. Then third statement should be what? He has no material form. Again, he has no material form. Already Prabhupada has already translated. But arupaya matlab he has no form, and ururupaya means he has many forms. So the third postulation means the third statement which can reconcile both is he has no material form. He has a spiritual form in this way. These are in the technicals of philosophers, and they do in this way study. Okay. अपादो अपानी पादो जवनो गृहीत पश्यतु अचक्षु सशुनोति अकर्ण. सेम थिंग. अपानी पादो, हाँ, हाथ नहीं है, पैर नहीं है, फिर भी he is going and accepting all the offerings which are given by his devotees, or they are doing yagya and going and collecting. So then how can he go and how can he collect unless he hand and leg he has? Okay. Pashyati achakshu. He's pashyati. He's seeing, but achakshu means he has no eyes. Shunoti akaranaha. He's hearing but no ears. So therefore you need the third statement to reconcile. That is called arthapatti. To reconcile the two true statement, we need the third one. In this way, we understand that Lord has no veins. Actually, Lord is not embodied. Okay. We'll go ahead. See, one thing we should always understand, these all tattvas are given by the acharyas. Through logic, we can never understand the Lord. Logic also had certain limitations. So we have known the truth, and so we are trying to understand it more clearly. We know the truth. If you want to convince the Gyanis, they will never be convinced. They will always be thinking something else. So these truths can only be understood when we understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is having the form. So this, it comes from doing devotional service. Go ahead. So Lord has no subtle body, no gross body. He has directly the soul, Satchid Anand Vigraha. Lord is omnipotent, Shukram, and omniscient, Kavi. Ranjana Mataji, can you read?
Hare Krishna.
Ah.
Yes, Prabhuji. Can you enlarge the screen a bit, Prabhuji?
एक मिनट. हाँ, अभी सही है? Now
yes, yes. In the Brahma Samhita 5.32, it is further stated that with each and every part, I can't see.
1 minute. 1 minute. I have to make it a little smaller. एक minute. It is again going. Yes. From here.
In the Brahma Samhita, with each and every part of his body, he
can do.
He can do the work of the other senses. This somehow I'm not able to see, Prabhuji.
Okay. No, you can read from your book also. No issue.
Okay. Okay. Because it is a little bit different, no? That's why I was not reading.
You can, no issue. You can read. We'll understand.
Okay. In the Brahma Samhita 5.32, it is further stated that with each and every part of his body, he can do the work of the other senses. This means that the Lord can walk with his hands, accept things with his legs, see with his hands and feet, eat with his eyes, etc. In the Shruti mantras, it is also said that although the Lord has no hands and legs like us, he has different type of hands and legs by which he can accept all that we offer him and run faster than anyone. These points are confirmed in this 8th mantra through the use of words like Shukram, omnipotent. The Lord's worshipable form, Archa Vigraha, which is installed in the temples by authorized acharyas who have realized the Lord in terms of mantra 7, is non-different from the original form of the Lord. The Lord's original form is that of Sri Krishna, and Sri Krishna expands himself into an unlimited number of forms such as Baladeva, Rama, Narasimha, and Varaha. All of these forms are one and the same personality of Godhead. Similarly, the Archa Vigraha worshipped in the temples is also an expanded form of the Lord. By worshipping the Archa Vigraha, one can at once approach the Lord who accepts the service of a devotee by his omnipotent energy. The Archa Vigraha of the Lord descends at the request of the Acharyas, the holy teachers, and works exactly in the original way of the Lord by virtue of Lord's omnipotence. Foolish people who have no knowledge of Sri Isopanishad or any other Shruti mantras consider the Archa Vigraha, which is worshipped by pure devotees, to be made of material elements. This form may be seen as material by the imperfect eyes of foolish people or Kanishta Adhikaris, but such people do not know that Lord, being omnipotent and omniscient, can transform matter into spirit and spirit into matter as he desires.
Okay.
The Bhagavad
Okay, we'll stop here. So here two things are mentioned about Kavi means omniscient, and then Sukram is omnipotent. Srila Prabhupada knows this thing, therefore is mentioning. We just now discussed unembodied, and then we discussed example of apani pado, shunoti akarna, then pashyati achakshu. So then he may say, right now you're telling that he does not have eyes but he's seeing. It means he is seeing through his eyes only, na? But again he is now contradicting here. No, he can see through his leg also. Now the whole logic was gone now. Therefore, I was saying this point that logic is at certain level. Again, Prabhupada mentions here, he has different types of hands and legs. Difficult to understand. Different types of hands and legs. Means hand is there first. Then we were saying because he has hand, so he's grasping something when you are giving him something. Now we are saying he does not need hand. He can accept from eyes also. What is this? First time you use the hand to prove that statement. Now you're telling he does not need hand also. What is this? Yes, he does not need hand, but it does not mean that he does not have hand. He has the hand. He has hand, he has legs, everything. First you accept that thing. That's why the first logic was proved in this way. He has everything. Sab kuch salamat hai Bhagwan ka. Okay. Now he's telling all the senses can work in an interchangeable way. Eyes can dance, eyes can dance. Hand can walk, and legs can eat, and nose can hear. Anything. सब उल्टा सुल्टा सब हो सकता है. कोई उसमें वो नहीं है. And Prabhupada gives this example to all of us in here, Archa Vigraha. Again, he is re-mentioning the same thing. Archa Vigraha is showing the omnipotence of the Lord. Now, omnipotence does not mean to say that he should, when somebody destroys Archa Vigraha in material world, like some Muslims or some atheist people, so then Archa Vigraha is omnipotent. He can fight and he can kill that person. No, here omnipotent means what? Lord can interchange his energy. He's omnipotent. All energies are his. Apparently, the body of Archa is matter, but through matter he is spiritually taking. Means he is behaving like a spirit only through that matter, because he has changed that matter into spirit. But we are only seeing that matter. Those who are neophytes, they are seeing matter. Those who are Madhyama and Uttama, they can see proper relationship. They know that even though it is looking like a matter, but it's not matter, it's a supreme personality of Godhead. It's a pure Archa Vigraha Satchidanand body form, same body. So therefore, this is omnipotence. Sukram. I worship.
Just one quick question.
Yeah.
So when we in spiritual world, can we like do the same thing with a difference or do different things like with legs, touch and see and or taste, or is it just Krishna can do that?
This I cannot answer. I do not know about it. I have not asked anyone. I will check with it and answer.
Thank you.
I do not know about it. So here, another thing, Archa Vigraha. See, many times we just hear that Archa Vigraha is simply doing some accessible to the devotees, but it may not react to those who are atheists or who are going to do some harm to the Archa Vigraha. But it does not happen this way. Anybody who has done offense to the deities, they have to suffer today or tomorrow. Like one time, in temple, there's one temple in Mayapur, like Raja said, Rajapur. What is the name? Mayapur?
Jagannath temple. Jagannath temple.
Rajapur Jagannath temple.
Rajapur Jagannath. So there, one lady came. She was Muslim lady, and then she was sitting with other friends were there, and she kept her leg in front of Jagannath like that. And Pujari came and said, Mataji, you should remove the legs. If you are having some problem, you can put your leg there. She said, oh, no problem. What is the problem? I'm just, so then other people also tried to say to her. She purposefully did not do. Okay. Then there was Aarti, and after Aarti, the Pujari was giving prasadam. So then this lady came, and she stood in the line to take prasadam. And after taking prasadam, she threw the prasadam purposefully. And then she left. And then the Pujari was saying, Arjun, nahi lena tha. If you did not want to take, why you are disrespecting prasad? Then he went and picked up prasadam and did something. Then this lady went to home. After 2 days, she got very high fever. After 2 days, very high fever she got. Like same example we hear Amogha. Amogha, who was son-in-law of whom?
Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya.
Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He was criticizing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Just after that, he got cholera disease, very high fever, immediately. So there, Lord was present, and here deity is there. Now this lady got, and the doctors came, they were trying to cure her, but no cure was working. So then she, ultimately 2 days happened, and then the fever was increasing more and more, and doctor was saying, here, nothing can happen, we don't know, she may die. And then she said to her husband that I have done something wrong. I went to temple, I think Lord and Pujaris are very angry with me. Please go there and bring that prasadam of which I threw and ask forgiveness from that Pujari. And this happened actually. Her husband went and he narrated this story. And Pujari said, okay, ठीक है, भगवान जगन्नाथ से हम प्रार्थना करेंगे, जल्दी ठीक हो जाए वो. And then he gave the prasad, and she got cured. So this is one very factual incident. It happened. And it's not that these other atheist people, they break the deity and nothing will happen. If we want to know what will happen, we can open the verse Bhagavad Gita 9.11 and 12. And we can know what is the result of offense in considering the Lord to be ordinary human being or a simply non-potent. This deity is like a murti. We can come to know by reading that. 9.11 and 12. Lord says, what I do with these people. Immediately, Lord may not take action, but the reaction will come. In due course, the reaction will come to anyone. So this is one important thing. So like the same Lord, he deals with the devotee so lovingly. Same Lord. Same Lord became Sakshi Gopal. He just walked behind Brahmana. Yes, he walked behind the Brahmana and proved that yes, what this elderly and old Brahmana, rich Brahmana, he promised that to this poor Brahmana that he will give his daughter. What he is saying is correct. He promised in front of me. Now you have to give your daughter to him. So it's Sakshi Gopal. So Lord, he started walking. Same Lord, to whom people see that he's a Archa Vigra with a wood or stone or some metal. So athapi te deva padambuja dvayam prasadaleshanugrihit eva hi janati tattvam bhagavan mahimno nachanyam eko api chiram vichinman athapi te deva padambujadam prasadaleshanugrihit eva hi. If you want to understand the Lord, you require slight trace of mercy. Only ज़्यादा नहीं चाहिए, बस भगवान का थोड़ा सा कृपा चाहिए भगवान को समझने के लिए. ब्रह्मा जी बोल रहे हैं 10th canto 14th chapter is saying कि you need a slight trace of mercy only of Lord's lotus feet to understand him. But those who are speculating about Lord from millions of years, they will never understand because they have no mercy. So those who really want to understand their deity, Archa Bigra, they have to surrender to him. Then Lord will bestow some mercy. And with that mercy, they will understand. Otherwise, they will keep blaspheming or offending the Lord, and they will keep suffering also. So we saw that how the Lord can convert matter into spirit. So this we should understand. Also, Bhagavad Gita 16 chapter 19 verse, he says, Krishna, Tanaham dusitah kurvan samsareshu naradhamam chipami ajasram asubhan asuras eva yonishu. Those who are envious, mischievous, I cast them to the demonic species. उनको मैं कहाँ पे भेजता हूँ? डेमोनिक स्पीसीज में जन्म लेने को भेजता हूँ. जो भी लोग ऐसा गड़बड़ काम करते हैं, डीटी के साथ छेड़छाड़ करते हैं या उनको तकलीफ देते हैं, उनके साथ भी अच्छा रिएक्शन उनको मिलता है. So this thing we should understand. And second thing, Lord is omniscient. Omniscient means he knows everything. Like if we speak, just is a example for us to laugh. Like if we speak in the ears of Lord Barahadev, Krishna will hear what he spoke. But you say, I spoke to the Varahadev. How can you hear? I was speaking about you, Krishna. But how did you hear? Because he's the same personality. If we speak in the ears of Lord Ramachandra, then Narsimha will hear. He will know what he spoke. Because he's the same personality. Advaitam, Achyutam. Advaitam means non-different personality. Advaitam, Achyutam. Omniscient. Even though he comes in any form, he knows what you have spoken. Anytime. He knows everything, past, present, future, anything he knows, everything he knows. So we should not, therefore the devotees, they never hide anything from the Lord. At least they go in front of Lord, they reveal everything. They know that Lord is there, he knows everything. Okay, we'll go ahead. Who cannot understand Lord's omnipotence and why? Now we have 10 minutes. We have to rush. In Bhagavad Gita 9.11 and 12, the Lord regrets the fallen condition of men with little knowledge who derides him. Same thing Prabhupada is speaking about the deities. Because he descends like a man into the world, so such poorly informed person do not know the omnipotence of the Lord. Thus, the Lord does not manifest himself in the full to mental speculators. He can be appreciated only in the proportion to one's surrender to him. The fallen condition of living entity due to entirely forgetfulness of their relationship with God. Lord maintains sanction and reciprocates. He is a fulfiller of all desires. So this section, Yatha Tatyato Arthan. Basically, now Prabhupada is going to other. Earlier what he explained, he explained first Akayam, Avarnam, then Sukram, Kavi, and now he is explaining what? Yatha Tatyato, Yatha Tatyato Arthan. Whatever desires we have, either humans or all living beings, all are fulfilled by the Lord. So we are like beggars. हम कौन है? भिखारी. मोक्ष भी चाहिए. प्रभुपाद लिखते तुमको मोक्ष भी चाहिए, तुम भिखारी की तरह भगवान के सामने बोलते मोक्ष दे दो, फिर भी तुम भगवान को नहीं मानते हो. So we are all भिखारी, and anything we want, we have to go to him only. In this mantra, as well as in many other Vedic mantras, it is clearly stated that Lord has been supplying goods to all living entities from time immemorial. A living being desires something and the Lord supplies the object of that desire in proportion to one's qualification. This is basically about karma. If somebody qualifies, then Lord gives him higher position. Somebody qualifies less, is given lower position. If a man wants to be high court judge, he must acquire not only the necessary qualification, but also the consent of the authority who can award the title of the high court judge. Two things. कोई कितना भी काबिल हो, एक इंस्टीट्यूट भी होना चाहिए जो उसको, that institute has to give him the tag or identity. Okay, you are so qualified, now you become professor. You are so qualified, now you become scientist. Yes. So even though we having the qualification, we need sanction from Supreme Lord to be qualified here for certain position. The qualification in themselves are not sufficient for one to occupy the post. It must be awarded by some superior authority. Similarly, the Lord awards enjoyment to the living entity in proportion to their qualification, but the good qualification in themselves are not sufficient. The mercy of the Lord is also required. Like sometimes many people, they think that why I should. Okay, so many times what happens, people think that why we should worship Lord. I'm doing my work and I'm getting the result. Why I should worship? Simply doing work, getting the result. Even you are getting result, that is given by Lord. So don't say that I'm working and then I'm getting result. This is called karmavad. Everything is in my hand, and dayavad means nothing is in my hand. So both are wrong. Both have to combine. Both are complementary. Means both have to combine to give the result. Karmavad means I have to do my duty, and dayavad means the God has to sanction, and then result will come. The farmer has to sow the seed in the field, and the rain which is coming from the mercy of the God, it has to fall, and then the crops will come. So result requires mercy of the Lord and endeavor of all the living beings. This we have to understand. This will be more in discussion, properly discussed in the Bhagavad Gita later. Ordinarily, the living being does not know what to ask from the Lord, nor which post to seek. When living being comes to know his constitutional position, however, he asks to be accepted in the transcendental association of the Lord in order to render transcendental loving service unto him. Unfortunately, the living beings under the influence of material nature ask for many other things, and they are described in the Bhagavad Gita 2.41 as having divided or splayed intelligence. व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धि एके है कुरुनंदन बहुशाखाय अनंतश्च बुद्धयो अव्यवसायिनाम भोग ऐश्वर्य प्रसक्तानाम. So then it comes that those intelligence are bewildered by so many material things, material facilities, material opulences. So their intelligence are divided. They don't know what to ask. They have so many goals to achieve in this world. Spiritual intelligence is one, but mundane intelligence is diverse. In Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.30, it is stated, Nate vidu swartha gatim he Vishnu durasaya bhairatmanina andha yathande rupgiyamana te pisa tantra urudhamni baddha. Those who having the material intelligence, they think that external things are more important. They don't keep Vishnu as a goal of life. That is their real swarth or their self-interest. But they think, no, my real self-interest is to enjoy in material world. And so, again, Matirna Krishna Parata Satova, chewing the chewed is same thing, same sloka from Prahlad Maharaj section. Basically, they are enjoying the same thing and they are getting frustrated. But again, they are going to the Lord and asking the same thing. So Prabhupada is saying, even though Lord gives everything, He sanctions, but what foolishness we are doing. We are getting frustrated and again asking. We don't know what to ask from Him. Nonetheless, the Lord is so patient, He allows the forgetful living entities to continue in this way without interference. Thus, this mantra of the Ishopanishad uses the very appropriate word yathatyata, indicating that Lord rewards the living entities just in the pursuance of their desires. If a living being wants to go to hell, the Lord allows him to do so without interference. And if he wants to go back to Godhead, the Lord helps him. Nobody wants to go to hell. Then why it is mentioned? Because our activities determines our goal, where we'll go. So many times we may not want to go to hell, but we don't give up sinful activity. So then ultimately we have to go to hell. Those who are atheist or those who are against the Lord. Lord is Paribhu. Paribhu means the supreme, greatest of all. God is described here as Paribhu, the greatest of all. No one can be greater than or equal to him. Other living beings are described here as the beggars who ask goods from the Lord. The Lord supplies the things and living entities desires. If the entities were equal to the Lord in potency, if they were omnipotent and omniscient, there will be no question of their begging from the Lord, even for so-called liberation. So we are not omnipotent. And we are not omniscient like the Lord. So we are begging. What? Even liberation. Give us the liberation. The real liberation means going back to Godhead. Liberation as conceived of by an impersonalist is a myth. And begging for sense gratification has to continue eternally unless the beggar comes to his spiritual sense and realizes his constitutional position. Many times when people read such a statement, they may think that Lord is showing his bossing nature on the living entity. Actually, it is not the so. The Ishopanishad is basically trying to make us understand the mistakes which we are doing. And it is for the matured people. The statements are for mature people, but devotees are more mature than what we are reading here, because we know we are serving the Lord right now. So devotees, how they see such statements means we are from the family of the Lord. There is no differentiation, because we just now read Nirguna platform. There is no differentiation. मतलब क्या झगड़ा, कुछ झगड़ा नहीं. अभी right now we cannot, even though may not be able to fathom those things, understand those things, but we should know that it is a family without any fight. And this question of begging right now, it looks very, what you call, it's a lower class thing. We are beggar, we are simply beggars. No, but when we come to that position, this feeling of becoming servant or this identity of servant, we will consider glorious very much. But right now we are not in that understanding. We cannot consider. But when you come to that stage of Jivira Sarupa Krishna Nitadas, when we realize that, so then that time we will rejoice our identity. Oh, such a nice identity. I am a simply beggar. Therefore, the devotees with pride, like Advaita Acharya, he is a Mahavishnu, and he is telling to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I want to become servant. How? I will preach Mayavad. Yoga Vasishta, I will preach. And he started preaching. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he knows he's a Supreme Lord. He came to know that he's preaching Mayavad. Then he went and, Advaita, tell me, is absolute truth personal or impersonal? Then he laughed little. Absolute truth is impersonal ultimately. Who is known through speculation of the Gyanis. Chaitanya became very angry. He went and he just dragged him from Vyasasan and just put him on the floor and started hitting him. He just sat on his chest and started hitting. And Sita Thakurani came, he's my husband, he's an old man, please don't beat him, he'll die. And Advait Acharya is laughing. And he's telling, where has your humility gone when Bhrigu kicked on your chest? And that time you're so humble, you did not. Now you are, when I spoke something, your all humility went away. Where is the humility now? Kidhar gayi tumhari humility? And then he said, today I have showed that I am your servant. Otherwise, which master? Or if you think that you are my servant, then how can you beat me? Only a master can chastise a servant. You have considered me as your servant. And that time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu felt very humiliated or embarrassed. Oh, today really something bad happened. So Advait Acharya defeated Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Just see. Now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu defeated. Now the same Lord who was showing humility, now his humility is gone. Now he's beating his devotee. So the Advait Acharya is so proud that I want to be servant of the Lord. So this is a relationship between devotees and the Lord. So this relationship is a very relation. Even the greatest devotee, the highest potent energy, Srimati Radharani, she says, I am a maid servant of Krishna. And she considers herself lowest than any neophyte also. She says, Krishna, this neophyte devotee is more advanced than me. Just see. The Radharani, about her, we read so much that she is a Aladini Sakti. She is equal with Krishna, energetic. She is considering, I am a maid servant, please. I do not much better seva than this neophyte. This neophyte is doing such a nice seva. He offered you one flower, he offered you some sweet items. And then he considered herself lower than that neophyte. So such a big devotees are thinking like that. So why we should not be the beggar? In the society of beggars, where advanced people are also beggar, we can be small beggars. That is good. Some begging is okay, good, no issue. The Lord is self-sufficient, Swayambhu, and beyond reproach. So only the Supreme Lord is self-sufficient. When Lord Sri Krishna appeared on the earth 5,000 years ago, he displayed the full manifestation as the personality of Godhead through his various pastimes. In his childhood, he killed so many demons, Agasur, Bakasur, Sakatasur, and there was no question of his having acquired such power through any extraneous endeavor. He lifted Govardhan Hill without ever practicing weightlifting. This Tripathi, he wrote a warrior of Mithila, Sita, and he's showing that Sita is practicing bodybuilding. And this foolish person does not know. Or people show Krishna, they make some 3D cartoons or the films that Krishna has some all dumbbells or the other people have dumbbells. They don't know that Krishna is spiritual body. He does not need dumbbell, trimble, water, nothing. He does not need anything. He's quite sufficient himself. So although he danced with the gopis without social restriction, without reproach, nobody can say, Krishna, how can you dance with the gopis? Nobody can criticize him. Now somebody can say, how he cannot be criticized? Yes, that is why it is said reproachable. What is the word used here? Reproachable? Avaranam. Avaranam. Although the gopis approached him with a paramour feelings of love, the relationship between the gopis and the Lord Krishna was worshipped by even Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was a strict sannyasi and rigid follower of disciplinary regulations. Okay. So even Lord Chaitanya, such sannyasis are discussing such topics. So how can that be material? Okay. We can discuss this last thing next time. No issue. I have taken 5-6 minutes ahead. Any short question? Yes. Yes, Yamna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, you mentioned that, we understand the living entity, we got a material body because we had material desire, and that too in the spiritual world. It's like always I think it's a very common question that, when we go back, when we are in the spiritual world, how we can have a material desire, because we see the like in the Bhagavad Gita also it is mentioned that janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tatvata, that when we takta deyam punarjanma neti mam eti Arjuna, that we don't come back again. So how to understand that, like we had a material desire in spiritual world and then we came back here?
See, Srila Prabhupada says it is natural. Sometimes servant wants to become master. It is natural. This propensity, because we are part and parcel of Krishna, he has enjoying tendency. We also have enjoying tendency. But our enjoyment is dependent on Krishna. This we should not forget. Krishna is a Swarat and we are not Swarat. We are dependent on Krishna. He is a Gunatit and we are Mayavash, or we can come under Gunas. So we are subordinate. Not only we, all the energies of Krishna, we are also one of the energy. Every energy is subordinate to Krishna. Yes. But yes, they don't have tendency to disobey Krishna. We are Tatashta. We can disobey and we can fall to Maya. Or we can obey, we can fall to spiritual energy. So why this will not happen once again? The reason is, when we have experienced a lot of trouble here, anytime tomorrow if you again think of going back, Krishna will show, see your last many lives, movies I have made now. जरा देख के जाओ मूवी, तुमने क्या किया था. Once we start looking our old movies, जो कि कृष्ण के पास रहेगा, तो हम खुद ही बोलेंगे भगवान माफ करो. The experience नहीं मिला है. We have not got experience. Now through this ordeal we are getting experience. We are getting experience. And many times Prabhupada used to answer such questions by telling, first you go to spiritual world. These things you want to get answer, but first you go to spiritual. Therefore, if this is a common question, why the Shastras, they don't disclose it so openly? They are saying, Ichchadve samutena dvandamohena bharata. Because of Ichcha and Dvesh we came. This much Shastra says. They will not tell the incident, each incident of every living entity. Why? What happened there? But Srila Prabhupada very clearly mentions it is possible, it's natural. Servant sometimes wants to become master. But now after getting the knowledge, after striving for the knowledge, इतना आसान है क्या back to Godhead जाना? सब कुछ we have to sacrifice and we have to totally humble ourselves. It means after doing that, when we accept that this thing, that we are not going to commit the mistake once again. Even the advanced devotee also knows that all living entities who are suffering, they have misutilized their independence. So after he became advanced, he also knows I should not misutilize. Otherwise, if he does, then he will also. So Krishna will protect us. And we will know that what is the material world, what is there, kya idhar cheez hai vastav mein. So like that. So we should have complete faith that after going back to spiritual world, why we should come back here? Like how many of us want to go back to spiritual world unless this Krishna conscious was preached? हम लोग सोचते हैं यहीं पे मजा आ रहा है, क्या दिक्कत है? कितना भी तकलीफ हो, हम इतने सड़े हुए संसार में भी जीना चाहते हैं. तो we want to live in this miserable world with all adjustment. So why we can't live in the spiritual world with no misery, no adjustment? So adjustment. So therefore, I'm saying now somebody can ask how the material desire came there. Yes, material desire as a position of a servant and a what we call Malik, master. So it can come. Sometimes servant wants to take the position of master. Oh, I said, no, you are enjoying. I also want to enjoy. I also want to enjoy. So then this thing is again and again in bhakti process it is told, we are not the master, we are servant. Again, why we are practicing the same thing? So that we can become expert in really behaving like that servant. Nobody, unless he's a servant, can go back to Godhead. Unless he becomes servant, he cannot go back to Godhead. It means he has accepted the position. He has accepted the position. And somebody says, okay, we are getting less enjoyment. No problem. Krishna will fulfill that also. We want 110,000 enjoyment, go to Swargalok. We'll get that. Krishna will never keep us bereft. If somebody wants really material enjoyment, Krishna will give. Bhar bhar ke khilayenge Bhagwan. After coming to ISKCON, we came to know that nobody can report about prasadam in ISKCON. At least we will, even if you go out of ISKCON, you will say, भर भर के खाता था मैं बाबा, एकदम कोई कमी नहीं भगवान ने छोड़ा, एकदम भर भर के खिलाया भगवान ने. भले philosophy high है, philosophy is quite high, but I have never been bereft of eating prasadam. Krishna has fed me. बस बहुत हो गया. One thing will always be grateful, eating a lot of prasad. Is it not? So if somebody really wants, Krishna will facilitate, go Swarga, go to Maharlok and Janlok, and there you become Siddhas. Nicely enjoy, fully become Brahma, no issue. And then after realizing, come back once again. So that path is also open, no issue. But then one has to intelligently take decision. I mentioned in previous classes, one has to intelligently take the risk if one wants to go. So therefore, intelligent person understand क्यों इतना झंझट करना, झगड़ा करना. चलो, we will find the easy path. Already Acharya has realized, everybody has realized. So let us continue, and tomorrow we will realize. So enjoyment in material world, Prabhupada say material world is impossible and spiritual life is difficult. He says spiritual life is difficult, but material life is impossible. Yes, it may be difficult for all of us, because Krishna is a difficult game to handle for gopis also. Even Radha Rani complains about Krishna. You go and hear so many sastras, even she complains about Krishna. But she says ultimately, Asiswa Padaratam Pinashtuma Mar Ardhatam, what is that? Marmahatam Karutuva Yathat Vidhatulam Pato Mat Prananatha Saiva Napara. Whatever you step, why Radharani is saying this thing? She is showing her unconditional humility. That Krishna, whatever you do, she knows he will do. He is a master. मास्टर को कोई नियम नहीं होता है. मास्टर का जो इच्छा है वो करेगा, वो मास्टर है. और सर्वेंट का कोई वो नहीं होता. Servant cannot put any law on master. Okay, if you do like this, then only I will serve you. No. Therefore, she says, whatever you do, I am your servant. Radharani is saying, highest of energy. All she is saying. So we are basically worshipper of Radharani, Gaudiya Vaishnava. So yes, goal is quite high, and we have to understand God through love. This all philosophy will only enter when there is a bhakti. Without bhakti, the philosophy will create problem. Therefore, no jnani and yogi can reach God. That's why, because they don't have bhakti. Bhakti can only make us understand God properly, and then God will call us. Okay, you have now bhakti, come. This all jnana is to ultimately cultivate bhakti. Not to just keep us in the jnana platform and then go back. Never, we'll never reach there. Because we'll always be confused. Oh, if God will do in this way, then what I will do? Okay, if God says this thing, I will tell him, I will not do. If God says this thing, then I will do. So then this is a jnani person. You will never approach the spiritual world. When you will be fully surrendered, whatever you say, I am yours, then you will be allowed. Okay? Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Prabhuji.